Welcome all of you friends. It's Raj Shikshan Sanstha's RBNB College and myself Limkar Shubhangi Subhash. Today I am going to present 12th English textbook from it, section 2nd, 2.6. The poem name is Money, and the poet name or the poem is written by here the poet William H. Davies. Now at firstly we are going to see what is the meaning of the title. So what do you mean by the title Money? So this title shows the influence and importance of money in this world. So as well as money has an ability to change the behavior of individual persons. Everyone tries to earn a lot of money, but surprisingly what happens, it is seen that after becoming rich, most of the people or most of the person lose their peace of mind. But when we are going to compare this situation to the poor ones, at that time it happens that the poor in comparison in this situation, they are able to sleep or they can sleep peacefully and enjoy life, neglecting lack of money. So this reality we oftenly across in this world. So this is the meaning of this title. Now we are going towards the icebreakers. On your textbook page number 121, some questions given to you. So the first question to you, that is, discuss in the class about importance of money. Now first one is done for you, that is, money is used as capital in business. That is done for you on page number 121. Now the second, as an answer of yours, you can give it as money is necessary to satisfy or to complete our basic needs, as well as money is essential to fulfill or to get good education, best education, as well as to get healthcare facilities also. So money helps to gain material pleasures also. So for these lots of things we need money. So this is the importance of money. Any one of you can tell lots of things about money. Now second question to you, the web is given to you. That web is about money spent judiciously. So what do you mean by judiciously? Judiciously means what? With good judgment or sense. It is called as the judiciously. So the web is given to you and you have to fill there 3 boxes in that as an answer of yours. So the first one is done for you, that is the donation for the poor and needy people. So this is the first use, good use of money. Now second, you can give as an answer of yours, that is giving financial support to poor student, as well as give money to buy food to needy or hungry people, as well as buying objects from the Bachat Gat or Mahila Bachat Gat. Like this you can use your money in a good sense or in a good judgment. So these are some few uses of it or money. You can give another uses or the good uses of it. Now the third question to you on the same page number. Make a list of good qualities of your friend. So all of you have lots of friends, but the qualities of them you impressed most. So like qualities you can give, you are able to give the qualities of your friends: clever, then kind, again good tempered, sensitive. So these kind of qualities you are able to give as an answer of yours. Now next is, share your views on money is the root of all evils. Can you say that money is the root of all evils? After all, money is we called as a genie in our hand. So we cannot say that inanimate object is an evil, but it's depend on the uses of that person. So how that person is uses, how that person is use the money, it depends upon that person or that individual. So the person is use that money for a good thing, definitely the good uses of it. But when the person is used money for bad thing, definitely it's called as evil. But not here we can say that money is evil or money is the root of all evils. It is after all the person or human being we called them as evils, because actually the person is go to use that money. That's why we cannot say like that money is the root of all evils. So you can give here your opinions like this as your answer. Now the last question to you. Do you lend money to your friend? Give reasons. To lend money, to give money for some time, this kind we called it as a lend money. So if yes, there are two columns to you given to you. The first one is yes and the second one is no. In yes, you can tell here in that column. If your answer is yes, give there as your answer poor financial background, that's why you lend money to your friend, as well as the poor friend of yours, he or she can continue the study, that's why you want to lend money to these people or to these friends of yours. Then second is, if you are go to lend money to your friend, the reason behind it maybe can't afford this person the traveling expenses. So these are the answers from yes column. Now what are the answers from no column? That are, if you do not lend money to your friend, the answer of it, the other friends get lot of or enough money to spend, that's why you do not lend money to your friend. The second answer to it, that because they don't need extra money, that's why you do not lend money to your friend, as well as you do not lend money to your friend because they have enough reach, so they never lend money from you. So you can give these answers like this answer in no column. Now we are going towards about the introduction of the poet. So here the poet name is William H. Davies. So the life period or lifespan of him between 1871 to 1940. So this poet is known as a Welsh poet and a writer. So most of his years he spent his life as a tramp. Tramp means what? A person especially on foot searching one place to another in search of work. That person is called as a tramp. And a hobo. Hobo means a homeless and jobless person is called as hobo. So this kind of person had William H. Davies. So he was called as tramp and a hobo in UK. UK means United Kingdom and the United States. Now later on William Davies also became a peddler. Peddler means a person who illegally sell the drugs as well as the stolen goods. That person is called as a peddler. So such a kind of person the poet was. Now that's why he was called as peddler and a street singer also in England. Then he spent several years as a wandering life, and then later on he published his first volume. The name of his first volume was The Soul's Destroyer and Other Poems. So this much is the introduction of the poet. Now we are going towards what is the theme or central idea of the poem. Now we are going to see it. The poem tells us about the rich man who wants to be a poor man to find the real happiness in this world. So it is when we do not have the money, or if we have lost the money, then only we realize the importance or how important the money is. As well as at the end of this poem, the poet says that how he does not have money, he has two friends, though they may be in very few numbers. Now we are going to start the poem. I am going to read it on page number 122. So listen to it. Money. When I had money, oh, I knew no joy till I went poor. For many a false man as a friend came knocking all day at my door. Then felt I like a child that holds the trumpet that he must not blow because a man is dead. I dared not speak to let this false world know. Much have I thought of life and seen how poor men's hearts are ever light, and how their wives do hum like bees about their work from morn till night. So, when I hear these poor ones laugh and see the rich ones coldly frown, poor men think I need not go up so much as rich men should come down. When I had money, oh, my many friends proved all untrue. But now I have no money, oh, my friends are real, though very few. The poem is written by William H. Davis. So the poem is it contains totally 5 stanzas in it. So the first line of the poem as well as the last stanzas, first line, that is the title of the poem, that is money, this word is contained there. Now we are going to see it. When I had money, oh. So here in this poem, the poet uses all the first person pronouns because he himself is the main protagonist or hero of this poem. That's why he said that when the poet had lots of money. So when I had money, oh, the poet addresses to the money. That's why he said in the very first or the beginning of the poem of the first line, that is, when he had money, when he had rich, at that time what happened? He did not know about the joy of life. I knew no joy till I went poor. So in his life, the poet wants to become poor. Earlier in the first extract, the poet was rich and he addresses to the money, and that's why he said that when he was rich, he did not know the real happiness, the real joy in this world. What is real happiness to him? So what is real happiness means to him? So he did not know about all those things when he was actually rich. That's why he wants to become a poor person. That's why he said in the second line, that is, I knew no joy till I went poor. So here the poet wishes that he becomes poor. He wants to become poor. For many a false man, a friend, came knocking all day at my door. So when the poet was rich at that time, lots of friends of him came knocking all day at his door. And because lots of wealth he had, that's why lots of friends of him, because of wealth, lots of people are attracted towards him. That's why he said that these all friends of him, only the false men. And that's why he said that for many a false man as a friend, the friend whom he called, but actually those are not of him, his friends, but the false men. Because of wealth, because of the poet's richness, all those people always visited to the poet's house and always knocking all day at his door. So this reality shown in the first extract of this poem. Now come towards the second extract of this poem. Then felt I like a child that holds a trumpet that he must not blow because a man is dead. I dared not speak to let this false word know. So at that time, the poet says that, then felt I like a child that holds. So in the first line of the second extract, the poet compares himself to the child. So like a child, the poet also know the reality of this world. That what is the reality of this world? That if we have lots of money, we have lots of richness, at that time lots of people attract towards us. This reality is shown in the very beginning of this first extract, but this fact is shown by the poet by the explanation of the example. What is the example given by the poet in the second extract? That is a child that holds a trumpet. If we go to visit a fair, at that time what happen? We buy a trumpet. We buy a trumpet to a child. And at that time we also tell to the child that not to blow that trumpet, because all the time maybe the child blow the trumpet and it will disturb that atmosphere. That's why what's the unreality or the false, oftenly the elder people tell to that small child that because a man is dead, the child must not blow the trumpet, because if the child blow the trumpet, definitely the atmosphere would disturb. So the child must not blow, because a man nearby that house would be a man nearby that house is dead. That's why the reason given to that child not to blow the trumpet. What was the reason? That the man is dead, and that's why the child must not blow the trumpet. So like that, here the poet also said that he did not have the daring to speak this situation openly to this world, and that's why the last line of this extract he said that I dared not speak to let this false word know. So what is the reality? That is in a rich situation everyone is with us, but when in reality when we have no money, at that time no one is going to help us, or no one is with us. That is the reality shown in the second extract. Now come towards the third extract. What is that? Much have I thought of life and seen. So the poet thinks about lots of life, and then he's seen what's that? How poor men's hearts are ever light. So in our day-to-day life also, we come across the person who do not have enough money with them, then also they are so light-hearted, because this person, especially our poor person, they do not carry any kind of burden, any kind of tension, any kind of stress, because they do not have lots of money with them. Then also they live their life happily. That's why the word used here, ever light. So how poor men's hearts are ever light, and how their wives do hum like bees. And these poor person wives also doing humming. Humming is a kind of singing. Actually humming is a singing of the bees, but here we have to take the meaning, sing with closed lips. So the persons who are poor, their wives do hum like bees about their work from morn till night, from the morning till night. So how these poor person worked from morning till night. So this situation really known by their wives, but then also their wives do hum like bees. So these light-hearted people enjoy their life very freely. This reality is shown in the third extract. Now in the fourth extract, what is the poet tells about that? So when I hear these poor ones laugh and see the rich ones coldly frown. And as all of you know that, what is the reality? The poor people live their lives so freely. That's why these poor people laugh very freely. So when I hear these poor ones laugh and see the rich ones coldly frown. Frown means what? Anxiety, tension, stress. It's called as a frown. So lots of people who are rich, they having on their face the coldly frown or lots of tension, stress or stresses on their face. It's called as the frown. So see the rich ones coldly frown. Poor man think I need not go up. So the poor people, where are you? You are so happier or happiest person, where are you? At your place. So this is the sentence said by the poet. Means what? The poor people really enjoy the life because of that situation. They are so light-hearted. They do not carry stress, tension, anxiety or any frown on their face. But and as contrast to rich person, the rich man should come down. So these rich person who are really rich, they do not get happiness in their life. That's why when they really know what is the happiness, to know this question answer, they must come down. Means what? They must come poor. The rich man must come poor. So this is the reality or the another point of view towards life is shown by the poet very beautifully in this fourth extract. Now the last extract of this poem. When I had money, money, oh, my many friends proved all untrue. So untrue means what again? False. So here once again the poet says that when he had money, when he was rich at that time, what was the situation of him? That he had lots of friends with him, but all these friends of him proved all untrue with him, all untrue to him, as well as, but now I have no money. Oh, in the last extract of this poem, in the last two lines, the poet explains that when he had no money, means what? When he was poor, he became poor. At that time, what happened? My friends are real, though very few. So in poor condition, though the poet do not have money with him, then also he had very few friends with him. But all these friends really the friends of him, because all of you know the proverb that a friend in need is a friend indeed. So this is reality. This reality is shown in the last two extracts. So this is the meaning of this poem. So I think that all the extracts meaning you know, or you got the meaning of all the extract. Now come towards the figures of speech. Now in the very first of the extract, in the first line, that is, when I had money, money, oh. In this line, the repetition of the word money. That's why we called here the repetition figure of speech, because the money word is repeated twice, and that's why we called it as repetition. Now come towards next the for many a false man as a friend. Same extract, the first extract, third line. Here the figure of speech is inversion. So inversion means what? The correct order of the sentence is changed. In English especially we used subject plus verb plus object. This is the sentence construction in English. But this sentence construction is not followed. It is not incorrect prose order. It is incorrect prose order. So what is the correct prose order? That is a false man as a friend for many. This is the correct prose order. So we can call in this line inversion figure of speech. Now next second extract. What is here? Then felt I like a child that holds a trumpet that he must not blow, because a man is dead. In this line, the figure of speech is simile, because here the poet compares himself with a child. The child who holds a trumpet that he must not blow because a man is dead. So we can call it the figure of speech is simile, because indirect comparison is given in this line. Now come towards the next, that is alliteration. In the same line, what is the because a man is dead, I dared. In the third line of the second extract, the sound is repeated twice at the beginning of the word dead as well as at the beginning of the word dared. So we can call it as alliteration. Now come towards the third extract. Now the third line, that is, and how their wives do hum like bees. In this line, hum is a sound describing word, so we can call it as onomatopoeia. As well as here the wives of the poor people compare to the bees, humming bees, so we can say it the figure of speech is simile by the using of the word like as well as by the comparison indirectly. So we can say here the figure of speech is simile. Now next, the fourth extract, the third line, that is poor men. Fourth extract, third line, poor men think I need not go up. In this line, N sound is repeated two times or twice in the very beginning of the word need, that is N, and the word not, the very beginning of the word not. So we can say here alliteration, figure of speech. Now come towards the last extract. In the second line, that is my many friends proved all untrue. So in this line, M sound is repeatedly repeated at the beginning of the word my as well as at the beginning of the word many. M sound is repeated. That's why we can say here the figure of speech is alliteration. In the last line of the same extract, that is my friends are real though very few. In this line, F sound is repeated at the very beginning of the word friends, that is F, and the very beginning of the word, that is few. So it is repeated twice. That's why we can say here F sound is repeated twice. That's why here alliteration. As well as here one more figure of speech I want to say, antithesis. Anti means opposite, thesis means ideas. So in the fourth extract, the figure of speech is antithesis. Very first two lines, that is, so when I hear these poor ones laugh and see the rich ones coldly frown. In these two lines, two opposite ideas, that is poor and rich. These two opposite ideas placed in these lines. So we can say here the figure of speech is antithesis. As well as come towards the rhyme scheme of this poem. So all the first fourth extracts, the rhyme scheme of this poem, that is A, B, C, B. But this rhyme scheme is not mainly followed in the last extract of this poem. So what is the last extract rhyme scheme? That is A, B, A, B. This is the last extract of last extract's rhyme scheme of this poem. Now, thank you so much. Thank you so much, all of you friends. So I think that all these poems explanation may help you in your study. Thank you, all of you.